next speaker is United Nations Watch. You have the floor.
I thank you, Mr. President. Today, the whole world is watching as millions of Israelis, Jews and Arabs go to the polls to elect 120 members of parliament and a prime minister. 24 parties are running, including left and right, secular and religious, and a joint Arab list that is predicted this time to win more than 10% of the seats. The whole world is watching, Mr. President, to see the results. But my question today is whether members of this United Nations Human Rights Council is watching, not for the results, but for the process. Now, in this session, the Council is planning to condemn Israel for violating human rights in at least 4 separate resolutions, which is 4 times more than the amount of condemnation against Syria, Iran, and North Korea. Perhaps the Council members who will condemn Israel as the world's worst violator will watch today Israeli democracy in action and learn something. Perhaps China, where the Communist Party is always in power and which keeps Nobel Peace Prize laureate Liu Xiaobo in jail, might watch Israel today and learn something. Perhaps Russia, where President Vladimir Putin always wins and which marks the first anniversary of its takeover and occupation of Crimea, might watch Israeli democracy today and learn something. Perhaps Cuba, where a Castro is always president, might watch Israeli democracy today and learn something. Perhaps Venezuela, where opposition
there
leader...
is a point of order. A point of order comes from Cuba, and I would like you to specify it.
Sí, muchas gracias, señor presidente. Es increíble escuchar a la única organización no gubernamental que podríamos decir que es una organización gubernamental financiada por el gobierno de Israel. Es la única ONG en este diálogo que está defendiendo a Israel. Es increíble y es una falta de respeto a la ética internacional y a la labor de este órgano. Es la única ONG que ha venido a defender a Israel, la potencia ocupante que por décadas ha matado, torturado a personas. Así que nosotros pedimos que esta intervención sea eliminada y que se impida que este representante hable ante este foro. Muchas gracias.
Yes, I ask the speaker to keep to appropriate language. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate the comments from Cuba, which expertise on NGOs is in question, given the results of their UPR and the 400 false NGOs that they directed to submit statements in subverting that UPR.
Another point of order. You have the floor to substantiate. Can only be procedural.
Sí, el único procedimiento es que le pedimos al señor que estudie, que lea. Cuba fue respaldada por la comunidad internacional cuando fue evaluada en 2 ocasiones por el EPU. Cuba no fue condenada. Quien debe ser condenado es la persona que está hablando y el gobierno de Israel por ocupar ilegalmente una nación entera y por matar y torturar a cientos y millones de personas. Muchas gracias.
I think your point of order is not entirely procedural, but touches upon substance. So I would remind you that the speaker is addressing human rights issues relevant to the agenda item under consideration, and he has the floor to finalize.
Thank you, Mr. President. Perhaps the state of Palestine, whose President Abbas has not enjoyed the experience of an election in more than 10 years, might watch Israeli democracy today and learn something. And perhaps Syria, whose president, we're told, wins massive numbers of votes from the people that he is killing, might watch Israeli democracy today and learn something. Thank you, Mr. President.
Time is up.